This moving pile of junk? It's a crab. And all of that clutter is keeping it alive. In the human world, clutter is stressful, but down here, it's survival. So why do they choose to keep all of their clutter instead of getting rid of it? Find out now as Discover Pals presents Hidden Hoarders.
My name's Nicole, author-illustrator of the Discover Pals Educational Nature Children's Book Series, and today we're going to talk about Decorator Crabs.
If a person looked like this, we'd probably call them a hoarder, or a collector if we wanted to be nice. But for this crab, this clutter keeps it alive. It can be hard to tell exactly what a decorator crab looks like under the cover of their beloved collections, but either which way, they're kind of ugly. So why do they cover themselves with junk? Decorator crabs live in shallow coastal waters worldwide and are considered lunch for a lot of predators. Pufferfish and octopus have beaks specially designed to crush crab shells, like this one. But fear not, decorator crabs have a unique ability that allows them to cover their bodies with junk. This unique ability is a form of disruptive camouflage, which helps not only to hide the shape of their body, but also disrupts the perception of their movements due to their changing texture. Here's an example of how well this works. This decorator crab has covered itself with local clutter and will easily hide from predators. This decorator crab is naked. If he doesn't cover himself, he will probably get eaten. That's better. Clutter can give us stress, anxiety, and feel like the problem. But for this crab, clutter is the solution. So what's the secret?
So how do decorator crabs decorate themselves? How does this junk stick?
Decorator crabs have thousands of microscopic hooked hairs on their shells called seta. These hairs work like natural Velcro, allowing them to stick all kinds of materials to themselves. These clutterful fashion pieces include algae, seaweed, small shells, pebbles, and even detritus, which includes poop. Decorator crabs will even cover themselves with other animals, like coral, sponges, anemones, sea squirts, and hydroids, which are in the jellyfish family. Some of these can be toxic, or have stinging cells, which offers extra defense against predators. So instead of dining on a juicy crab, they get a dose of poison instead. Take that! Now, imagine if humans had this same ability. What clutter would we camouflage ourselves with? Maybe knickknacks, multiple spares of kitchen utensils, several sets of sheets and pillows, and maybe some paper phone bills for good measure. So, are they choosing junk at random, or are they designers?
They may look disheveled, but in reality, decorator crabs are master fashion designers and decorators. Hence the name.
They customize coverage by cutting and tailoring pieces of junk and other materials. They're not just messy, they actively curate. They also redecorate each time they move locations and to adapt to changing environments. For example, if a crab moves from one area that is covered in coral instead of algae like their old home, they will redecorate with coral to match. This would be like us changing up our whole wardrobe just because we moved to a different neighborhood. Like all crabs, decorator crabs must molt and able to grow bigger. This process completely replaces their old shell and even allows them to regrow lost limbs. Think of it as a complete makeover. But there's a catch. Because they completely lose their old shell, they lose their wardrobe too. And they've got to redecorate fast, because a naked crab on the reef doesn't stay hidden for long. People sometimes struggle with clutter because nothing forces us to reset. But decorator crabs get a complete reset button every time they molt. So what else can we learn from them?
There are over 700 different species of little ocean hoarders, mainly falling under the Majoidea or spider crab family.
Some notable species include the yellow spider crab, the graceful decorator crab, and the orangutan crab, with extra long seta, which makes them extra cute. This is a carrier crab, and while not technically a kind of decorator crab, this guy uses a similar form of camouflage and defense by holding on to living creatures with a specialized set of third and fourth legs. This sleepy sponge crab is another type of carrier crab, and their preferred camouflage? You guessed it, sponges. Although this strategy can be a little bulky. Oh, come on, almost there. Got it. Like most crabs, decorator crabs are opportunistic omnivores, which means they eat a variety of foods ranging from ocean plant life to even other small crustaceans and fish. Unfortunately, decorator crabs haven't contributed much to science, at least not yet. The development of Velcro is credited to the Swiss engineer George de Mestral in 1941, who studied how burrs from the burdock plant stuck to his dog's fur. Coincidentally, this is the same concept that our clutter crabs use to attach materials to their shells, but not the original inspiration for Velcro. By studying decorator crabs, we can learn more about dynamic texture camouflage, which might be helpful for applications in military defense, or it might even inspire next season's line of fashion.
Decorator crabs have survived millions of years by turning the reef around them into camouflage and armor. But that only works if that reef stays vibrant and healthy.
These crabs will decorate with whatever they can find. When reefs are polluted, their camouflage starts to include our trash. In these polluted areas, decorator crabs have been found attaching plastic, fishing line, and synthetic debris. This is a problem because plastic doesn't provide chemical defenses like anemones and sponges. It can snag or weigh them down, and it can even kill other animals that attempt to eat them.
The good news is that there's little things we can do every single day to ensure that decorator crabs have the right materials to decorate with.
We can start by reducing single-use plastics. Up to 12 million metric tons of plastic enter the ocean annually. This is equivalent to a garbage truck dumping its entire load into the ocean every single minute. In less than 25 years, the plastic in the ocean could outweigh all of the fish in it. In the US alone, nearly 100 million plastic utensils are discarded every day. But there is hope. Shifting to reusable or biodegradable utensils would spare landfills of approximately 200,000 tons of plastic waste annually. This is equivalent to 889 Statues of Liberty. So tell your friends about our clutter-loving decorator buddies and how we can help them with something as simple as a reusable water bottle. Together, we can take small steps to make a big impact to ensure the decorator crab sticks around for generations to come. To us, clutter often feels like the problem. Too much stuff, too much chaos. But for a decorator crab, clutter is strategy. Every piece of algae, every sponge, every tiny scrap of reef becomes armor. A hoarder keeps everything. A decorator crab only keeps what helps it survive. And sometimes the difference between being seen and staying alive is a little bit of clutter.
And if you're interested in sharing more about the coral reef with your kid or a kid you know, please check out my children's book, Reef Pals, Wonders of the Reef. I wrote and illustrated all of the art myself. I didn't use AI. This was a 5-year project after I finished my undergrad, and it's my goal to help teach kids and adults about nature, about science, and about how we can reduce pollution. So if you're graciously inclined to help support that, my book is available on Amazon and reefpals.com. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe and check out the next video to learn about more things here.